your dreams on social media. You're trading real wealth for cheap attention. Every time you post about your goals, you're selling your future for worthless likes. Every time you share your ambitions, you're exchanging potential millions for temporary validation from people who won't even remember your post tomorrow. But you keep doing it, don't you? You keep broadcasting your plans, sharing your strategies, announcing your moves. And then you wonder why you're still stuck while the truly wealthy seem to appear out of nowhere with their success. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. Addiction to being seen is exactly what's keeping you from being rich. Money never sleeps, but excuses do. That single line was scrawled on a piece of paper taped to the wall of a small apartment. The person who wrote it had just lost everything. Their savings, their business, their relationships. But instead of sharing their story on social media, instead of complaining to friends, instead of seeking sympathy, they made a decision that would change everything. They chose silence. They understood something that most people never grasp. Your struggles are not entertainment for others. Your journey is not a social media story. Your transformation is not a public event. Look around you right now. How many people do you see broadcasting their dreams, announcing their goals, sharing every small victory and setback? Now ask yourself, how many truly wealthy people do you see doing the same? The truth is hard to hear, but it needs to be said. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less likely you are to actually do it. Every time you share your dreams, you're trading real achievement for temporary attention. Every time you seek validation for your goals, you're weakening your own resolve. I think about the last time you shared a big goal with someone. What was their reaction? Did they truly support you, or did they offer what they called realistic advice? Did they remind you of all the potential problems? Did they tell you about someone else who tried and failed? Here's what nobody tells you about wealth creation. The road to riches is a lonely one, not because you have to leave people behind, but because you have to leave behind the need for their approval. Most people live their entire lives seeking validation from others. They make decisions based on what their friends will think. They choose careers based on what their family will approve of. They set goals based on what society considers acceptable. And that's exactly why most people will never be wealthy. True wealth creation requires something that most people aren't willing to give. It requires you to become comfortable with silence. It requires you to be okay with people not knowing your next move. It requires you to find satisfaction in progress, not praise. Wealthy understands something crucial. Every time you announce your plans, you give power to the doubters. Every time you seek approval, you invite criticism. Every time you share your strategy, you create competitors. But there's something even more important at play here. When you constantly talk about your goals, you're treating success like it's a social event rather than a personal transformation. Have you ever noticed how the people who talk the most about getting rich are usually the ones furthest from achieving it? Have you ever noticed how those who constantly post about their hustle are often the ones making the least progress? This isn't coincidence. This is human nature at work. When you talk about your goals, your brain gets a small reward, a hit of dopamine from the attention and validation. This creates a dangerous cycle. Instead of working toward your goals, you become addicted to talking about them. You start mistaking discussion for action, planning for progress. But the wealthy, they operate differently. They understand that true power lies in silence, not in being secretive or deceptive, but in being focused. They know that energy spent explaining your moves is energy not spent making them. Think about a lion hunting its prey. Does it announce its presence? Does it seek validation from other animals about its hunting strategy? Does it stop mid-hunt to update its status? No, it moves in silence. It stays focused on its goal. It conserves its energy for what matters. This is the first principle of getting rich. Learn to operate in silence. This doesn't mean you can't have mentors. It doesn't mean you can't have trusted advisors. But it does mean you need to be selective about who you share your journey with. The masses don't understand this. They've been conditioned to believe that success requires constant networking, endless self-promotion, continuous social media presence. They've been taught that if you're not visible, you're not successful. But look at the truly wealthy, not the influencers posting about wealth, but the people actually building it. What do you notice about their behavior? They're not the ones posting daily motivational quotes. They're not the ones sharing every business move. They're not the ones seeking constant validation. They're the ones quietly building, silently growing, consistently progressing. This brings us to an uncomfortable truth. Your desire to share your journey might be the very thing holding you back from completing it. When you constantly seek validation, you're operating from a position of weakness. When you regularly announce your moves, you're working from a place of insecurity. When you feel the need to prove yourself to others, you're actually proving your own lack of confidence. The wealthy understand that true confidence doesn't need constant external validation. Real power doesn't require regular recognition. Genuine progress doesn't demand public approval. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is something most people never realize. The silence I'm talking about isn't just about not sharing your plans. It's about developing an internal locus of control so powerful that external opinions become irrelevant. Think about this. When was the last time you made a major decision without consulting anyone? When was the last time you trusted your own judgment completely? When was the last time you moved forward with a plan despite everyone telling you it wouldn't work? For most people, the answer is never. And that's precisely why most people will never be wealthy. Because wealth creation isn't just about making money. It's about developing the kind of internal strength that makes you immune to other people's opinions. It's about building the kind of confidence that doesn't need constant reinforcement. Let me share something that might shock you. The most dangerous person in your life right now isn't your competition. It's not the economy. It's not the market. The most dangerous person in your life is the one who's always ready with advice about your money. You know who I'm talking about? The friend who's never started a business but has endless opinions about how you should run yours. The relative who's living paycheck to paycheck but wants to warn you about investment risks. The coworker who's never made a successful trade but wants to tell you what stocks to buy. These people aren't just harmless advisors. They're dream killers. Not because they mean to be, but because they're projecting their own fears, their own limitations, their own failed relationships with money onto you. Here's a brutal truth. Most people, are financially illiterate. They don't understand money. They don't understand wealth creation. They don't understand investment. But that doesn't stop them from having opinions about your financial decisions. Would you take swimming lessons from someone who's never been in the water? Would you take flying lessons from someone who's never left the ground? Would you take health advice from someone who's never exercised? Then why are you taking financial advice from people who've never created wealth? This brings us to the second principle of getting rich. Your financial journey must be a private one. Not because you're doing anything wrong, not because you have something to hide, but because the moment you start sharing your financial moves, you invite the kind of advice that can only come from people who haven't done what you're trying to do. The wealthy understand this at a deep level. That's why they discuss money differently. Have you ever noticed how rarely truly wealthy people talk about their investments in detail? Have you ever noticed how they deflect questions about their wealth with general statements? They're not being secretive. They're being smart. They understand that their financial strategies aren't meant for public consumption. They know that their methods taken out of context could be misunderstood or misapplied. There's something even more important at play here. You keep your financial moves private. You protect yourself from one of the most dangerous forces in wealth creation, collective fear. Think about what happens when the stock market dips. What do most people do? They panic, they sell, they make emotional decisions based on collective fear. But what do the wealthy do? They buy, they expand. They make strategic decisions based on private knowledge. The difference isn't just in their bank accounts, it's in their approach to information sharing. Most people feel compelled to discuss every financial decision, every investment move, every business strategy with their social circle. They think they're gathering wisdom, but what they're really gathering is fear. They think they're being prudent, but what they're really being is paralyzed. The wealthy operate differently. They understand that every person they tell about their financial moves is a potential source of doubt, fear, or misguided advice. They know that the masses are programmed for scarcity, trained for mediocrity, conditioned. This isn't about being antisocial. This isn't about distrusting everyone. This is about understanding a fundamental truth. Your wealth creation journey is uniquely yours. No one else needs to understand it. No one else needs to approve of it. No one else needs to validate it. Think about the most successful business moves you've ever made, the best investments you've ever chosen, the smartest financial decisions you've ever taken. How many of them came from following the crowd? How many came from collective wisdom? How many came from social consensus? I'm willing to bet the answer is none. Because true wealth creation doesn't happen in the open. It happens in silence. It happens in solitude. It happens in those moments when you're willing to trust your own judgment more than the opinions of others. But here's where most people get stuck. They've been conditioned to believe that success requires consensus. They've been taught that if enough people agree with their decision, it must be right. They've been programmed to seek approval before action. This is why most people will never be wealthy. They're playing a game that can't be won, trying to get rich while keeping everyone happy, trying to build wealth while maintaining universal approval, trying to succeed while satisfying every opinion. The more they understand something profound, the more people who agree with your financial decisions, the less likely those decisions are to be profitable. The more popular investment strategy, the less likely it is to yield exceptional returns. The more people who validate your business move, the less innovative it probably is. Think about this. Every major innovation, every groundbreaking company, every revolutionary product was initially met with skepticism, doubt, and disapproval. Every significant wealth creation opportunity looks like a mistake to the masses until it succeeds. This brings us to another crucial understanding. The opinions that matter least are often the ones most. Have you ever noticed how the people with the strongest opinions about your financial decisions are often the ones with the least financial success? Have you ever noticed how the loudest critics are usually the ones with the smallest achievements? This isn't coincidence. This is human nature at work. People who haven't achieved what you're trying to achieve will always have opinions about your methods. People who haven't built what you're trying to build will always have criticisms about your approach. People who haven't reached where you're trying to go will always have doubts about your direction. But here's the key. Their opinions are irrelevant. Their criticisms are meaningless. Their doubts are insignificant because they're not playing the same game you are. They're not building what you're building. They're not seeing what you're seeing. This is why silence is so powerful. When you operate in silence, you're not just avoiding negative input. You're creating space for clear thinking. You're not just dodging criticism. You're building mental strength. You're not just evading doubters. You're developing unshakable confidence. I think about the most successful people, personally. Not the ones you follow on social media, not the ones you read about in magazines, but the ones you actually know. How much do they share about their financial moves? How often do they seek approval for their business decisions? How frequently do they post about their wealth creation journey? The answer almost invariably is very little, because they understand that true power lies not in sharing, but in doing, not in telling, but in building, not in seeking approval, but in creating value. You know what's fascinating about human behavior? We'll spend hours scrolling through social media, looking at other people's success stories, but we won't spend 10 minutes examining our own financial habits. We'll invest countless hours discussing other people's business strategies, but we won't invest a single hour developing our own. This addiction to external focus is killing your wealth potential. Every minute you spend analyzing someone else's journey is a minute not spent creating your own. Every hour you waste discussing other people's strategies is an hour not invested in developing your own. Every day you lose following someone else's path is a day not spent carving your own. But here's what's really interesting, and this is something most people never realize. The wealthy aren't just quiet about their own moves. They're quiet about everyone else's too. Think about this. When was the last time you heard a truly wealthy person gossiping about other people's business decisions? When was the last time you saw a genuinely successful person commenting on someone else's financial choices? When was the last time you witnessed a real wealth creator spending time analyzing other people's mistakes? It doesn't happen. Because the wealthy understand something crucial. Other people's journeys are irrelevant to your own success. This brings us to the third principle of getting rich. Focus exclusively on your own game. Most people spend their lives playing audience to other people's games. They watch from the sidelines. They comment from the bleachers. They criticize from the comfort of their own mediocrity. But the wealthy, they're too busy playing their own game to watch anyone else's. This isn't about ignorance. This isn't about isolation. This is about focus. Pure, undiluted, powerful focus. Think about this. Every opinion you have about someone else's business is energy not invested in your own. Every judgment you make about someone else's financial decisions is mental capacity not used for your own growth. Every minute you spend analyzing someone else's mistakes is time not spent learning from your own. The wealthy understand this at a fundamental level. They know that mental bandwidth is finite. They understand that focus is a limited resource. They recognize that attention, once divided, loses its power. But here's where it gets really interesting. The less you focus on others, the more clearly you can see your own path. When you stop comparing your journey to others, you start seeing opportunities they don't see. When you stop analyzing their strategies, you start developing better ones of your own. When you stop following their paths, you start discovering shortcuts they never found. This is why the wealthy seem to see opportunities that others miss. It's not because they're smarter. It's not because they're luckier. It's because they're focused exclusively on their own game. Think about a chess master in the middle of a crucial match. Do they care about other games being played in the room? Do they pay attention to the spectators' opinions? Do they waste mental energy analyzing other players' strategies? No, they focus entirely on their own game. They concentrate completely on their own moves. They invest all their mental energy in their own strategy. This is how the wealthy operate. They play their own game with complete focus, absolute concentration, and unwavering attention. But here's the part that most people miss. This level of focus requires sacrifice. It requires you to give up things that most people consider normal, natural, even necessary. You must give up the need to know what others are doing. You must give up the desire to comment on others' choices. You must give up the habit of comparing your journey to theirs. This is why getting rich requires silence. Not just silence about your own moves, but silence about everyone else's too. Think about how much mental energy you currently spend on other people's financial journeys. How much time do you waste discussing other people's business decisions? How much attention do you give to analyzing other people's strategies? Now imagine channeling all that energy into your own growth. Imagine investing all that time in your own development. Imagine focusing all that attention on your own opportunities. The difference would be transformative. But here's the challenge. Society has programmed us to be observers rather than players. We've been conditioned to comment rather than create. We've been trained to analyze rather than act. Breaking free from this programming requires something that most people aren't willing to give. It requires you to become comfortable with being misunderstood. When you stop participating in the collective commentary, people will notice. When you stop engaging in financial gossip, people will wonder. When you stop sharing opinions about others' choices, people will question. Let them. Because here's another truth about wealth creation. The moment you become comfortable with being misunderstood is the moment you start making moves that others can't understand. Think about this. Every major wealth creation opportunity looks strange to the masses. Every significant business innovation seems weird to the majority. Every powerful investment strategy appears odd to the average person. This is why the wealthy don't seek to be understood. They don't try to explain their moves. They don't attempt to justify their strategies. They understand that the kind of moves that create real wealth will always seem strange to those who haven't made them. The kind of strategies that generate true riches will always appear odd to those who haven't used them. The kind of decisions that build lasting fortunes will always look weird to those who haven't made them. This brings us to another crucial understanding. The need to be understood is often the biggest obstacle to doing what needs to be done. How many opportunities have you missed because you couldn't explain them to others? How many moves have you delayed because you couldn't justify them to your social circle? How many decisions have you avoided because you couldn't make them make sense to everyone else? The wealthy don't have this problem. They've learned to operate without the need for external understanding. They've developed the ability to move forward without social validation. They've mastered the art of taking action without public approval. Here's a truth that might make you uncomfortable. Your current financial situation is largely a result of how much attention you pay to other people's opinions. Your present wealth level is directly connected to how much energy you spend seeking validation. Your existing success is precisely limited by how much you care about being understood. Take a moment and think about your last 3 financial decisions. How many of them were influenced by what others might think? How many were shaped by the need for approval? How many were modified to make sense to people who don't share your vision? The wealthy make decisions differently. They don't ask, what will others think? They ask, what will this build? They don't wonder, will this make sense to others? They consider, will this create value? They don't worry, will people understand this? They focus on, will this generate results? This brings us to the 4th principle of getting rich. Action speaks louder than explanation. Most people spend their lives preparing to take action. They plan, they research, they discuss, they analyze, they prepare, but they never actually move. Why? Because they're waiting for something that will never come, universal approval. They want everyone to agree with their decision before they make it. They want everyone to validate their strategy before they implement it. They want everyone to understand their vision before they pursue it. But here's the brutal truth. This is the kind of moves that create real wealth will never have universal approval. The kind of strategies that generate true riches will never have collective validation. The kind of decisions that build lasting fortunes will never have complete understanding. Let me give you a concrete example. Think about the most successful business in your local area. Now go back to when that business first started. Ask around about what people thought when it opened. You'll almost always find the same story. People thought it would fail. People said it wouldn't work. People questioned the entire concept. But the owner didn't seek approval. They didn't wait for understanding. They didn't need validation. They acted, they moved, they built. Think about this. Every major fortune started with a decision that most people thought was wrong. Every significant wealth creation journey began with a move that most people couldn't understand. Every powerful success story started with an action that most people advised. The wealthy understand this at a bone-deep level. They know that the crowd is almost always wrong about wealth creation. They understand that the majority is almost never right about financial opportunities. They recognize that the masses are almost always mistaken about business strategy. Consider the real estate market. When is the best time to buy? When everyone is selling. When is the best time to sell? When everyone is buying. Yet, how many people have the courage to act against the crowd? How many have the strength to move against the majority? How many have the fortitude to operate against public opinion? This is why silence is so crucial. It's not just about keeping your moves private. It's about maintaining the mental clarity to see opportunities that the crowd misses. It's about preserving the emotional strength to act when others are paralyzed by fear. It's about protecting the intellectual independence to think when others are reacting to panic. But here's where it gets really interesting. The wealthy don't just ignore the crowd. They use the crowd's behavior as a counterindicator. When everyone's buying, they're often selling. When everyone is selling, they're often buying. When everyone is moving in one direction, they're often moving in the opposite. Think about every major market crash. What was the crowd doing right before? Buying frantically. Think about every significant market recovery. What was the crowd doing right before? Selling desperately. But here's the key. The wealthy don't make these moves publicly. They don't announce their positions. They don't broadcast their strategies. They act in silence, move with purpose, and let the results speak for themselves. This is why silence is so crucial to wealth creation. When you're constantly sharing your moves, you're constantly inviting the crowd's influence. When you're regularly announcing your strategies, you're regularly exposing yourself to collective fear. When you're frequently explaining your decisions, you're frequently subjecting yourself to mass doubt. Consider this. Every time you explain your investment strategy to someone, you're not just sharing information, you're inviting doubt. Every time you discuss your business plans with others, you're not just seeking input, you're collecting fears. Every time you announce your financial moves, you're not just being transparent, you're accumulating resistance. Or there's something even more important to play here. When you operate in silence, you develop a kind of mental strength that's impossible to achieve any other way. Think about this. Every time you make a move without seeking validation, you build confidence. Every time you take action without explaining yourself, you develop conviction. Every time you progress without public approval, you strengthen your resolve. This is how the wealthy build their most powerful asset, unshakable self-trust. They don't need others to validate their decisions because they've proven to themselves time and time again that they can trust their own judgment. They don't require external approval because they've demonstrated to themselves repeatedly that they can rely on their own insight. They don't seek public understanding because they've shown themselves consistently that they can depend on their own wisdom. But here's the challenge. Building this level of self-trust requires you to be willing to be wrong, not just wrong in private, but wrong in a way that others might see. And consider the most successful investors you know. How many failed investments did they make before finding their winning strategy? Consider the most profitable businesses you've observed. How many mistakes did they make before finding their successful model? Consider the wealthiest people in your community. How many times did they fail before achieving their breakthrough? Where wealthy understand something profound about that's being wrong is not the opposite of being successful. It's a prerequisite for success. Think about your own relationship with being wrong. How much does the fear of visible failure influence your decisions? How much does the anxiety about public mistakes affect your choices? How much does the worry about others' judgment impact your actions? For most people, the answer is too much. They let the fear of being wrong prevent them from taking the actions that could make them rich. They allow the anxiety about mistakes to stop them from making the moves that could create wealth. They permit the worry about judgment to keep them from implementing the strategies that could generate success. This brings us to another crucial understanding. The more comfortable you become with being wrong, the more likely you are to eventually be right in a way that matters. The wealthy don't just accept this, they embrace it. They don't just acknowledge it, they use it. They don't just understand it, they leverage it. But here's the key. They do all of this in silence. They don't announce their failures. They don't broadcast their mistakes. They don't publish their defeats. They simply learn from them, adjust because of them, and grow through them. This is another reason why silence is so powerful in wealth creation. It gives you the space to be wrong without the added weight of public opinion. It provides you the freedom to fail without the extra burden of social judgment. It offers you the liberty to make mistakes without the additional pressure of collective criticism. Think about this. When you operate in silence, your only critic is yourself. Your only judge is your results. Your only measure is your progress. This is true freedom. This is real power. This is the path to wealth. It is an absolute honor to stand before you today. I am thrilled to share a message that has the power to transform lives, a message of hope, determination, and unwavering belief in oneself. Today, we commit to a journey together, a journey towards greatness with the mantra, I'm going to make it. Let me take you back to a time when I was facing what seemed like insurmountable odds. I remember being young, full of dreams, yet burdened by the weight of countless challenges. There were days when the road ahead seemed daunting, filled with obstacles that appeared too difficult to overcome. But in those moments of doubt, a small yet powerful voice inside me kept saying, I'm going to make it. This simple yet profound statement became my guiding light, my source of strength. The statement, I'm going to make it, is not just a phrase. It's a mindset, a declaration of intent. It's about believing in yourself when no one else does, pushing forward when the path is unclear, and holding on to your dreams despite the storms that life throws your way. Today, I want to share with you the importance of this mindset and how it can change your life. Mindset is everything. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. When you believe in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals, you unlock a wellspring of potential within you. This belief fuels your actions, it drives your decisions, and it propels you forward even when the going gets tough. The right mindset turns obstacles into opportunities and challenges into stepping stones. Determination is the engine that drives this mindset. It is the unwavering commitment to keep moving forward no matter what. It is the refusal to give up in the face of adversity. Determination is what keeps you going when others have stopped. It is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. Together, mindset and determination create a powerful force that can overcome any obstacle. They are the twin pillars of success, supporting you as you climb towards your goals. When you adopt this mindset and embrace determination, you set yourself on a path to make it no matter the odds. Remember this, your mindset and your determination are within your control. They are the keys to unlocking your full potential. Hold on to them, nurture them, and let them guide you on your journey. Because with the right mindset and unwavering determination, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Belief in yourself is the cornerstone of all success. It is the starting point from which all achievements flow. Developing self-confidence is crucial, and it begins with understanding that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Self-confidence is not an innate trait. It is a skill that can be developed and nurtured over time. Think about a time when you accomplished something significant in your life. Remember the feeling of pride and satisfaction that came with that achievement? That feeling is the essence of self-confidence. To develop this, start by setting small, achievable goals and then celebrating each success, no matter how minor it may seem. Each success builds a foundation of confidence, creating a strong belief in your abilities. Positive thinking plays a vital role in developing self-confidence. It is about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. It's about believing that you can achieve your goals even when faced with challenges. Positive thinking empowers you to take control of your thoughts and emotions, transforming your mindset from one of doubt to one of certainty and optimism. When you focus on the positives, you train your mind to look for solutions rather than problems. This shift in perspective opens up new possibilities and paves the way for success. Surround yourself with positive influences, engage in affirmations, and visualize your success. These practices reinforce your belief in yourself and your abilities. Overcoming self-doubt is a critical step in this journey. Doubt is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control your life. Recognize that everyone experiences doubt at some point, even the most successful people. The key is not to let it paralyze you. Instead, use it as a motivator to push through and prove yourself wrong. One powerful technique to overcome self-doubt is to reflect on past successes. Make a list of all the times you've succeeded, big or small, and revisit this list whenever doubt creeps in. This reminder of your capabilities can boost your confidence and reinforce your belief in yourself. Consider the stories of successful individuals who believed in themselves despite the odds. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He faced countless failures before inventing the light bulb, but his unwavering belief in his ability to succeed kept him going. Or think of Oprah Winfrey, who overcame significant personal and professional challenges to become a global icon. These individuals achieved greatness because they believed in themselves and their dreams. Another inspiring story is that of Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. Schultz's story is not just about coffee. It's about vision, perseverance, and the belief in one's dreams. Howard grew up in a poor neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. His family struggled to make ends meet, and the idea of becoming a successful businessman seemed like a far-fetched dream. But Howard had something that many people often overlook. He had grit. He worked hard and earned a scholarship to college, a significant achievement for someone from his background. After graduation, he worked for various companies, but it was a trip to Milan, Italy that changed his life forever. In Milan, he saw the culture of coffee houses and was inspired by the way they brought people together. Howard had a vision to bring the Italian coffeehouse experience to America. He pitched his idea to the owners of Starbucks, which at that time was just a small chain selling coffee beans and equipment. They initially rejected his idea, but Howard didn't give up. He raised money, bought the company, and started to implement his vision. The journey was not smooth. Howard faced numerous challenges, including financial difficulties and skepticism from others in the industry. He had to deal with moments of doubt and fear, but he never let those moments define his path. He believed in his dream and persisted. One of the critical turning points came when Howard had to raise more money to expand Starbucks. He faced rejection after rejection from investors who couldn't see the potential in his idea, but he kept going, knocking on door after door, presenting his vision with unwavering enthusiasm. Eventually, he found the investors who believed in his vision, and Starbucks began to grow. Today, Starbucks is not just a coffee shop. It's a global brand, a symbol of community connection, and a testament to what relentless perseverance can achieve. Remember that belief in yourself is a powerful force. It is the foundation upon which you can build your dreams. Embrace self-confidence, practice positive thinking, and conquer self-doubt. Look to the examples of those who have gone before you and draw strength from their stories. With these tools, you are well equipped to make your mark and achieve the greatness you are capable of. Deep belief in yourself is indeed powerful, but to truly harness this power, you need to direct it towards clear and defined goals. Setting clear goals is the foundation of all great achievements. Without clear goals, you might find yourself drifting without purpose, unable to measure your progress or celebrate your successes. The importance of goal setting cannot be overstated. Goals give you a sense of direction and purpose. They act as a roadmap, guiding you towards your desired destination. When you have clear goals, you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, knowing exactly what you need to accomplish. This clarity helps you focus your energy and resources on what truly matters, making you more productive and efficient. To set achievable goals, start by writing them down. There's a certain magic in putting your goals on paper. It transforms them from mere ideas into tangible targets. Next, make sure your goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound smart. Specific goals outline exactly what you want to achieve. Measurable goals allow you to track your progress. Attainable goals ensure that your objectives are realistic. Relevant goals align with your values and long-term plans. Time-bound goals have a clear deadline, creating a sense of urgency and motivating you to take action. Long-term goals give you a vision of where you want to be in the future. These goals often take years to achieve and require sustained effort and commitment. Examples include becoming financially independent, starting a successful business, or achieving a significant career milestone. These goals keep you motivated and focused on the bigger picture, even when faced with short-term challenges. Short-term goals, on the other hand, are the stepping stones that lead you to your long-term objectives. These goals can be achieved within weeks or months and often serve as milestones on your journey. They provide immediate rewards and a sense of accomplishment, keeping you motivated and on track. For instance, if your long-term goal is to write a book, your short-term goals might include outlining the chapters, writing a certain number of pages each week, and completing the first draft by a specific date. Let me share a personal story to illustrate the power of goal setting. Years ago, I had a dream of becoming a successful entrepreneur. At the time, it seemed like a distant and daunting goal. I knew I needed a clear plan to turn this dream into reality. I started by setting specific, measurable goals. My first goal was to save enough money to start my business. I broke this down into smaller, actionable steps, such as saving a certain amount each month and cutting unnecessary expenses. Next, I set a goal to learn as much as possible about my chosen industry. I read books, attended seminars, and sought advice from successful entrepreneurs. Each of these smaller goals brought me closer to my ultimate objective. Over time, I gained the knowledge and confidence needed to start my business. By setting and achieving these smaller goals, I eventually reached my long-term goal of becoming a successful entrepreneur. This process of goal setting taught me a valuable lesson. Success is not a single event, but a series of small, consistent actions taken over time. Each small goal achieved builds momentum, bringing you closer to your larger objectives. As you think about your own goals, remember to dream big but start small. Break your long-term goals into manageable steps and celebrate each milestone along the way. This approach will keep you motivated and focused, helping you to make steady progress towards your dreams. With clear goals in place, the next crucial step is to take action. Goals are only as good as the effort you put into achieving them. With clear goals in place, the next crucial step is taking action. Without action, goals are nothing more than dreams. The significance of taking the first step cannot be overstated. It is the act of moving from intention to execution that sets everything into motion. That first step, no matter how small, creates momentum and builds confidence. It's like standing at the foot of a mountain. The peak may seem far away, but the journey begins with a single step. Overcoming procrastination is essential to achieving your goals. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, the thief of time. It stems from fear and uncertainty, from the daunting nature of starting something new. But remember this, action cures fear. The moment you take that first step, the fear begins to dissipate. The task ahead becomes more manageable, and you gain the clarity and focus needed to move forward. One effective way to overcome procrastination is to break your tasks into smaller, more manageable pieces. When you focus on completing a small part of the larger task, it becomes less intimidating and easier to start. Set a timer for just 10 minutes and commit to working on your task for that short period. Often you'll find that once you start, you're motivated to continue beyond the initial time frame. Consistent action and discipline are the keys to turning your goals into reality. It's not about taking massive leaps, but about making steady progress every day. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up and putting in the work, day after day, no matter the obstacles. Let me share a personal story about the importance of taking action. Many years ago, I had the dream of becoming a public speaker. At the time, the thought of speaking in front of an audience terrified me. But I knew that to achieve my goal, I had to overcome this fear. I started by taking small steps. I joined a local speaking club and committed to giving short speeches at each meeting. At first, it was nerve-wracking, but each speech I gave built my confidence. I practiced regularly, sought feedback, and continually refined my skills. Over time, those small, consistent actions led to significant improvements. I remember one particular moment that stands out. I had been invited to speak at a conference, my first major speaking engagement. The night before, I felt a wave of doubt and fear. But I reminded myself of all the small steps I had taken to get to this point. I focused on the progress I had made and the preparation I had done. The next day, I took the stage and delivered my speech. It wasn't perfect, but it was a pivotal moment in my journey. That experience reinforced the power of taking action and the importance of consistency and discipline. As you pursue your own goals, keep in mind that action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Take that first step, no matter how small. Break down your tasks, overcome procrastination, and commit to consistent action. Remember, success is not achieved overnight, but through steady, disciplined effort over time. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Every action you take builds momentum and propels you forward. Embrace the process and trust in the power of action. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Every action you take builds momentum and propels you forward. However, along this journey, failure is inevitable. Embracing failure as a part of success is crucial. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a stepping stone on the path to achievement. Every setback, every stumble, every misstep teaches us valuable lessons and brings us one step closer to our goals. Consider the stories of famous individuals who faced significant failures before achieving great success. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before finally inventing the light bulb. He famously remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each failure brought him closer to the solution, and his persistence ultimately paid off. Another inspiring example is Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper job because his editor felt he lacked imagination and good ideas. He faced multiple business failures and even bankruptcy before creating the beloved Disney empire. His story reminds us that failure is not a destination, but a part of the journey towards success. Reflecting on my own experiences, I can recall several setbacks that initially felt like insurmountable obstacles. There was a time early in my career when a business venture I had invested in failed spectacularly. I had poured my time, energy, and resources into this project only to see it crumble. The financial loss was significant, but the blow to my confidence was even greater. I questioned my abilities and decisions, wondering if I was truly cut out for success. However, I soon realized that wallowing in self-pity would get me nowhere. I decided to analyze what went wrong and learn from my mistakes. I sought advice from mentors, read extensively on business strategies, and identified the gaps in my approach. This process of self-reflection and learning transformed my failure into a valuable learning experience. I applied these lessons to my future endeavors, and over time they contributed to my success. Learning and growing from failures involves a few key steps. First, acknowledge the failure without dwelling on it. Accept that mistakes are part of the learning process and that they do not define your worth or potential. Next, analyze what went wrong. Identify the factors that contributed to the failure and consider how you can address them in the future. Seek feedback from trusted sources, whether mentors, colleagues, or friends. Sometimes an outside perspective can shed light on aspects you may have overlooked. Use this feedback to refine your approach and develop a plan to move forward. Most importantly, maintain a positive attitude. Resilience and optimism are critical in overcoming setbacks. Remember that every failure is a learning opportunity, a chance to grow stronger and wiser. View each challenge as a lesson, each setback as a setup for a comeback. Failure is an integral part of the journey to success. It teaches us humility, perseverance, and the importance of continuous learning. Embrace failure, learn from it, and let it propel you towards greater achievements. Know that failures are not the end, but rather the beginning of new opportunities. The key is to keep moving forward, learning, and growing with each experience. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Every action you take builds momentum and propels you forward. However, along this journey, failure is inevitable. Embracing failure as a part of success is crucial. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a stepping stone on the path to achievement. Every setback, every stumble, every misstep teaches us valuable lessons and brings us one step closer to our goals. Consider the stories of famous individuals who faced significant failures before achieving great success. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before finally inventing the light bulb. He famously remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each failure brought him closer to the solution, and his persistence ultimately paid off. Another inspiring example is Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper job because his editor felt he lacked imagination and good ideas. He faced multiple business failures and even bankruptcy before creating the beloved Disney empire. His story reminds us that failure is not a destination, but a part of the journey towards success. Reflecting on my own experiences, I can recall several setbacks that initially felt like insurmountable obstacles. There was a time early in my career when a business venture I had invested in failed spectacularly. I poured my time, energy, and resources into this project, only to see it crumble. The financial loss was significant, but the blow to my confidence was even greater. I questioned my abilities and decisions, wondering if I was truly cut out for success. However, I soon realized that wallowing in self-pity would get me nowhere. I decided to analyze what went wrong and learn from my mistakes. I sought advice from mentors, read extensively on business strategies, and identified the gaps in my approach. This process of self-reflection and learning transformed my failure into a valuable learning experience. I applied these lessons to my future endeavors, and over time they contributed to my success. Learning and growing from failures involves a few key steps. First, acknowledge the failure without dwelling on it. Accept that mistakes are part of the learning process and that they do not define your worth or potential. Next, analyze what went wrong. Identify the factors that contributed to the failure and consider how you can address them in the future. Seek feedback from trusted sources, whether mentors, colleagues, or friends. Sometimes an outside perspective can shed light on aspects you may have overlooked. Use this feedback to refine your approach and develop a plan to move forward. Most importantly, maintain a positive attitude. Resilience and optimism are critical in overcoming setbacks. Remember that every failure is a learning opportunity, a chance to grow stronger and wiser. View each challenge as a lesson, each setback as a setup for a comeback. Failure is an integral part of the journey to success. It teaches us humility, perseverance, and the importance of continuous learning. Embrace failure, learn from it, and let it propel you towards greater achievements. This is where developing a resilient mindset becomes crucial. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep going when the going gets tough. It is the cornerstone of long-term success, enabling you to navigate through challenges and emerge stronger on the other side. The importance of resilience cannot be overstated. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and resilience is what helps you maintain your course. It is the inner strength that allows you to endure hardships and come out more determined than ever. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them head on and using them as opportunities for growth. To build mental toughness, start by cultivating a positive attitude. Optimism is a powerful tool that can help you see challenges as temporary and surmountable. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. This mindset shift can significantly reduce stress and increase your ability to cope with adversity. Another technique to build resilience is to develop a strong support network. Surround yourself with positive, encouraging people who believe in you and your goals. These individuals can provide emotional support, practical advice, and a sense of belonging that can help you stay strong in the face of challenges. Practicing self-care is also essential for building resilience. Regular physical exercise, adequate sleep, and a healthy diet can boost your physical and mental stamina. Additionally, engaging in mindfulness practices such as meditation or deep breathing can help you stay calm and focused during stressful times. Look at some stories of resilience in the face of adversity. One remarkable example is Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he emerged not with bitterness, but with a vision of reconciliation and unity for his country. His resilience not only helped him survive the harsh conditions of imprisonment, but also led him to become a transformative leader. Another inspiring story is that of Helen Keller. Despite losing her sight and hearing at a young age, she went on to become a renowned author, activist, and lecturer. Her resilience and determination to overcome her disabilities made her a symbol of hope and perseverance. In my own life, I faced numerous challenges that tested my resilience. There was a time when a major business venture failed, leaving me financially strained and emotionally drained. It was a period of intense self-reflection and struggle. However, I chose to see this setback as a learning opportunity. I sought guidance from mentors, revisited my strategies, and most importantly, refused to give up. This experience not only taught me valuable lessons, but also strengthened my resolve to succeed. Resilience leads to success by transforming obstacles into stepping stones. It enables you to stay focused on your goals, even when the path is fraught with difficulties. Each time you overcome a challenge, you build confidence and fortitude, which prepare you for future obstacles. As you develop a resilient mindset, remember that setbacks are a natural part of any journey. They are not indicators of failure, but opportunities for growth and improvement. Embrace these challenges, learn from them, and let them fuel your determination to succeed. It's important to recognize the role of your social environment in fostering resilience. Surrounding yourself with the right people can make a significant difference in your ability to stay resilient and achieve your goals. As you develop a resilient mindset, remember that setbacks are a natural part of any journey. They are not indicators of failure, but opportunities for growth and improvement. Embrace these challenges, learn from them, and let them fuel your determination to succeed. Moving forward, it's important to recognize the role of your social environment in fostering resilience. The impact of your social circle on your success is profound. The people you surround yourself with can either lift you up or drag you down. Positive, supportive individuals can inspire you, provide valuable feedback, and help you stay motivated during tough times. On the other hand, negative influences can drain your energy and undermine your confidence. It's crucial to choose your companions wisely, as they play a significant role in shaping your mindset and actions. Finding and connecting with positive influences begins with seeking out individuals who embody the qualities you admire and aspire to develop. Look for people who are optimistic, driven, and supportive. These individuals can be found in various places: professional associations, community groups, and even online forums. Attend events, participate in workshops, and engage in activities where you are likely to meet like-minded individuals. Once you identify potential positive influences, take the initiative to connect with them. Reach out, introduce yourself, and express your interest in learning from their experiences. Most successful people are willing to share their knowledge and insights if you approach them with genuine curiosity and respect. Building these relationships takes time and effort, but the rewards are immense. In my own journey, I have been fortunate to have mentors and a supportive network that played a pivotal role in my growth. Early in my career, I sought out mentors who had achieved the success I aspired to. Their guidance, advice, and encouragement helped me navigate through challenging times and stay focused on my goals. These mentors provided not only practical advice, but also the emotional support that is crucial during tough times. One particular mentor stands out in my memory. During a period of professional uncertainty, this mentor shared their own stories of struggle and success, reminding me that setbacks are temporary and can be overcome with perseverance and hard work. Their belief in my potential reignited my confidence and pushed me to keep striving towards my goals. Surrounding yourself with the right people creates an environment conducive to growth and success. These individuals can offer fresh perspectives, hold you accountable, and celebrate your achievements. They serve as a reminder that you're not alone on your journey and that support is always within reach. Remember that learning and growth are continuous processes. Investing in yourself through lifelong learning can further enhance your journey towards success. Surrounding yourself with the right people creates an environment conducive to growth and success. These individuals can offer fresh perspectives, hold you accountable, and celebrate your achievements. They serve as a reminder that you're not alone on your journey, and that support is always within reach. Equally important is the commitment to continuous learning and improvement, which fuels your personal and professional growth. Lifelong learning is not just a choice. It is a necessity. In an ever-changing world, the only way to stay ahead and achieve lasting success is to keep learning. Knowledge and skills are the currency of the future. By continually upgrading your abilities, you ensure that you remain relevant, competitive, and capable of seizing new opportunities as they arise. One effective strategy for continuous personal and professional development is to read regularly. Books, articles, and journals provide a wealth of information that can expand your understanding and inspire new ideas. Aim to read at least 30 minutes a day on topics related to your field and personal interests. This habit not only broadens your knowledge, but also keeps you informed about the latest trends and developments. Another powerful strategy is to attend seminars, workshops, and courses. These learning experiences offer the chance to deepen your expertise, learn from industry leaders, and network with like-minded individuals. Investing in formal education and training can accelerate your growth and open doors to new opportunities. Additionally, seek out mentors and coaches who can guide your development. These experienced individuals can provide personalized advice, share their wisdom, and help you navigate complex challenges. Their insights can be invaluable in helping you reach your full potential. Consider the impact of continuous learning on notable individuals. Bill Gates, for example, is known for his voracious reading habits. Despite his busy schedule, he dedicates time to read extensively on a wide range of subjects. This commitment to learning has played a significant role in his ability to innovate and lead effectively. In my own journey, continuous learning has been a cornerstone of my success. I recall a time when I faced a significant business challenge that required new skills and knowledge. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, I embraced the opportunity to learn. I enrolled in relevant courses, sought advice from experts, and read extensively on the topic. This proactive approach not only helped me overcome the challenge, but also equipped me with valuable skills that I continue to use today. Learning leads to growth by expanding your horizons, enhancing your capabilities, and increasing your confidence. It empowers you to adapt to change, solve problems creatively, and make informed decisions. Each new piece of knowledge you acquire builds on the last, creating a cumulative effect that propels you towards greater achievements. Reflect on the key points we have covered. From believing in yourself to setting clear goals, taking action, learning from failure, developing resilience, surrounding yourself with the right people, and committing to lifelong learning. Each step is integral to your success. Now bring all these elements together in a powerful call to action that will inspire you to achieve greatness. Learning leads to growth by expanding your horizons, enhancing your capabilities, and increasing your confidence. It empowers you to adapt to change, solve problems creatively, and make informed decisions. Each new piece of knowledge you acquire builds on the last, creating a cumulative effect that propels you towards greater achievements. Recap the key points that will guide you on your path to success. Believing in yourself is the foundation. It is the inner voice that reassures you during challenging times, the confidence that drives you to take the first step towards your dreams. Setting clear goals gives direction to your belief, transforming it into actionable steps. Clear, specific, and measurable goals are your roadmap to success. Taking action is the next crucial step. Action turns plans into reality. It's about moving forward consistently, overcoming procrastination, and maintaining discipline. Remember, it's the small steps taken every day that lead to significant achievements over time. Learning from failure is another essential aspect of the journey. Embrace failure as a valuable teacher. Learn from your mistakes and use these lessons to propel you forward. Developing a resilient mindset ensures that you stay strong and focused even when faced with adversity. Resilience allows you to bounce back from setbacks and maintain your momentum. Surrounding yourself with the right people creates a supportive environment that fosters growth. Positive influences and mentors can provide guidance, encouragement, and valuable insights. Commitment to continuous learning and improvement keeps you competitive and adaptable. Lifelong learning ensures that you stay relevant and capable of seizing new opportunities as they arise. Each of these elements is interconnected, forming a cohesive strategy for success. To make a powerful declaration together, I'm going to make it, say it with conviction, and believe in the power of these words. This statement embodies your commitment to your goals, your resilience in the face of challenges, and your unwavering belief in yourself. To all of you here today, I challenge you to take these principles and apply them in your life. Start today by setting clear goals, taking action, and embracing failure as part of your journey. Surround yourself with positive influences and commit to continuous learning. Remember, your success is within your control. The journey may be long and filled with obstacles, but with determination and the right mindset, you will make it. I want to remind you that greatness is not reserved for a select few. It is within the reach of everyone willing to put in the effort and stay committed to their vision. Believe in yourself, take action, learn from your experiences, and never give up. You have the power to achieve incredible things. So Go out there and show the world what you're capable of. Remember, I'm going to make it, and so are you.